just right. Thank you so much.
Yes, give it up to our beautiful sister for opening that space with true heart. That was with love, not worrying about being perfectionist, not worrying about being a sound perfectionist, but really just opening heart. And that's deep what sound is. Something people think that sound has to be perfect all the time, or that it has to always be the sound that we expect that's going to bring pleasure. But sound does so much. It teaches us, whether it alerts us or whether it calms us. Sound is one of the key teachers in all of our existence. And so excited to share so many different facets how sound's going to work with you today. We're going to have a small documentary that's going to be shared by myself, the Vibrational Souls team, and our brother Chad from Grindstones Film. I'm going to bring him up for a quick moment. He's going to share a little bit about his vision of being a visionary artist, sharing music, sharing his work as a documentarist and a video artist. And then we are going to have some fun sharing with a panel, invoking questions about sound and science and how it actually works with our mental scape, how it works with our body scape. So after Chad Stacks talks for a moment, we're going to have a little opening meditation and then start with all the fun.
As you can see, I got my staff here. Doing multiple jobs today, but yeah, I moved to the Portland, Oregon area almost 5 years ago now. And, you know, I wanted to do videos kind of based around like people in the spiritual community. And one day I was at, I don't know, I Googled like full moon circle or something. And next thing you know, I came across Chaz. And I was like, bro, like I'm really trying to get my business going. And I'm like, hey, can I shoot a couple videos for you? And here we are about 5 years later, and I've done like 38 professionally produced videos for him. And yeah, recently we decided to shoot a documentary, excuse me, I wasn't expecting to come up here. Shoot a documentary on the power of sound, and Chaz has blown me away with the power of sound, taking my knowledge to a whole different place. I grew up back in upstate New York. My entire 20s, I was chasing the dream. I wanted to be the best rapper in the world, and I released 9 hip-hop albums. And then kind of put it behind me when I decided to go to film school, because I started shooting my own music videos. I was like, oh, people wanted to pay me for my work. So I'm like, okay, maybe I got something here. And Chaz has got me back into making music again, and I'm writing poetry, writing books now, and running my own business. So that's a little bit about me, but yeah, Chaz told me that Spirit told him that we should shoot a couple documentaries on sound, so I went over to his studio and interviewed him, and I kind of took it back to my little magical editing den, and I have an old teacher that says when it comes to editing, cut with your gut, and that's kind of what I've always done, so I just let intuition and spirit flow through me, and we came up with the Sound Science, the Sound Scientist documentary. So yeah, much love to everybody for being here. I'm excited to show you kind of what I cooked up for Chaz and the rest of the world, and there's plenty more to come, so thank you so much.
Oh, look at that. Wonderful. Thank you all for being here. My name is Kate. I am one of the healers here at the Haven, and we're so happy to have all of you here sharing your energy to really activate and bring this space to life. And in honor of this being a sound-specific event, let's just do a little bit of sound work, huh? Everybody down for that? It's a lot in the shoulders. All right, we're going to keep this short and sweet. So I'm just going to guide us through 3 breaths to really ground us into this space and sort of unify, collecting our energy here. And on the exhale, I want to invite you to make some organic sound. So perhaps that's just a ah, or perhaps it's a or a howling, whatever serves you best today, okay? Yeah? All right, let's do it. So as you're ready, deep belly breath in through the nose. Ah. Ooh, that's juicy. 2 more times. Full belly breath. Very good. We can do better than that, though. One more time. Fullest breath you breathed all day. Wonderful. And how's about we just do one collective Om together to really set the space, yes? Okay, deep breath in to prepare. So juicy. Wonderful. All right, well, enjoy the show, everyone.
Thank you for taking a moment of silence with me. I had to ground myself. I've been here for the last 2 hours running around, dialing in my own brain, making sure I was self-confident inside of myself so I can show self-love, so I can emanate some love out to you all. It's been a passion, 10 years of devoting myself to sound, 10 years of seeing what could happen from using sound for entertainment purposes into working with my nervous system, working with addiction personalities, working with emotional disorders, working with psychic abilities. And it's been crazy over the last 10 years, becoming confident, becoming loving, becoming psychic, becoming healthy, becoming in tune, becoming balanced, finding others that are doing the same, and then creating community to support this, to go deeper and to go fuller and to nourish. We're going to take a moment to nourish ourselves a little bit right now. I'm going to bring up Kate. She's a loving healer in this beautiful space. She's going to guide us in a short opening meditation, following with we will watch the documentary. And I would like for you all just to connect with yourself at this moment for taking the time to be with us and creating this echo that's emanating out to the city, emanating out to this planet and to the solar system, that we are here. We hear and we share in love. So I introduce my sister Kate. Well, I guess I might have guided us on some little intro stuff here. I missed the little opening as I took my breath. So I'm going to gather us all now and together. I apologize about that, sister. I like to be together on things, so I didn't know about that. And now I'm going to gather us in a little bit of movement and flow. So what was the first sound that entitled you, that got you excited? Was it a ah? Was it walking into a sound healing and hearing a bunch of people go, oh? Was it maybe walking into a crazy ecstatic dance and hearing ha 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 everywhere? I would like for you to take a moment and meditate on that sound. Think about it. How did it make you feel? What part of the body did it activate? If you were that sound right now, what color would you be? What shape? Would you be in? Would you be out? Would someone already heard you? Or would you be playing right now? You are this sound. You are a unique sound that only you can release and create. And through this vibration, we will all share the symphony of the stars. It is my honor and gratitude to be present here. Inviting us all to take a deep breath in together and releasing a sound. Yeah. One more deep breath in. And a fun sound. Yeah. That's right, as we activate ourselves. We are going to prepare to watch the documentary. very excited to share this documentary. This has been many years in the presence, and if you've ever wanted to give something back to life, this is something we're trying to give back to inspire people's heart in music and in sound, and to really show and pull the woo-woo out of sound healing and show scientifically what's really happening. And I hope this inspires a lot of questions, because we have an amazing panel of people that are going to be here, that are here, that are going to be sharing answers from all different angles about sound, energy healing, medicine, and how we can better ourselves as a community and individuals. And I would like to just give a little bit of gratitude to all of the community that have supported this, and this community here. This is a beautiful amount of people. Thank you, guys.
Greetings. I'm James Chaz Chavez, the owner of Northwest Sound Healing, a music and sound therapist, and a sound scientist. You may ask, what is a sound scientist? Well, first off, let's talk about what is sound. Sound is what we experience when frequency and vibration interacts with our consciousness. Sound is very unique because it has the ability to affect us on the emotional level. We know right away when we put on a song that we love on the radio, we tend to turn it up and start singing along, and our energy picks up. I got that old school beat with that new school jive. We rock that old school beat with that new school jive. Versus maybe a song or a genre of music that isn't so pleasing to our consciousness. We tend to kind of get tight and close up and turn the station right away. We also know that sound has the ability to work on the nervous system, i.e. you slam a door or somebody honks the horn out of nowhere and you see the nervous system jump and go into a fight or flight state. In reverse, you also see sound when people tend to play very calming things, like when a mother seems to hush and calm her baby by using her voice. We see a very calm and collective state happen to the nervous system. We also see sound being used in science. And the science looking at sound as resonance and how that works in the acoustical aspect of the body. And we can see that most commonly done by how they use ultrasound to break up a kidney stone. And now we're also seeing different types of ultrasound being used for cavities and for working with clearing out different types of blood clots, etc., etc. So sound scientist is somebody who understands the capability of sound and how to use it in a scientific way to create a change in the physical dimension. So the tools that have been used and are being now even created for the field of sound science is so broad and so beautiful, it can captivate your imagination. We can think about the ancient societies like the Mayans, the Egyptians, Sumerians, the Celtics, the Dogons, and how their main aspect of running and using their society was sound. It is very important to understand that a lot of these cultures not only use sound as in using their voice and maybe playing an instrument like a drum or a flute, but also created some of the most unique and largest architecture on the planet that actually interfaces with that sound, i.e. sound scientists. So they can go in and play these musical instruments that they created inside of this architecture. And it's like being in the most brilliant amplifier sound system where it amplifies every frequency. So the human that's listening to it not only hears it in full definition, but actually feels it completely through the body. This would be called a full immersion experience. And some say this can create transformation not only on the physical body, which has been scientifically proven, but on the emotional and spiritual body, letting you have out-of-body or maybe altered experiences. Now, are we doing this in modern times? I love to share that we are. We're actually creating new different types of technology. Things such as vibrational sound tables, frequency pillows, BioVibe tables. A BioVibe table is mixing vibroacoustic technology, which is the technology of sending frequency direct into the body and turning your body into a speaker. This allows you to not only feel what it's like to be a bass drum or a singing bowl or a didgeridoo, but also for your whole body, every organ, every cell, to actually get rearranged and retuned by this sound. But we don't only do that, we also mix electromagnetic pulsing. Electromagnetic is one of the most powerful forces on the planet that uses masculine and feminine energy together to create a balanced, full spectrum healing. We see that planets put this off. We see our sun puts this off. We see some of the most unique things in our solar system put off an electromagnetic current and pulse. So sound, we're seeing, can be one of the most effective things to use to really change the physical body, to go in and have that emotional or psychological release, or maybe to go in and tune your energetic body so you can really feel what it's like to be, AKA a superhuman.
I said, wake up, we did it again. Another day breathing, we got out of bed. The earth is alive now. The birds in the wind, the river is flowing. The hustle is dead.
Now we're starting to see this in our society. We're starting to see it in our local communities. We're starting to see sound healing, vibration, all these different types of things coming out. Why? Because it works. It took a moment for people to have the experiences with sound to see that it really worked. And then to share that, like, hey, I had this experience with this sound table, or I had this experience with this music therapist, or I had this experience with this sound, whether it be doing it yourself or by a singing bowl or a drum, and it actually made a difference. The same kind of difference than maybe if you were to take a pill or if you were to do some type of other therapy work. Letting us know that music and sound and frequency can be and is just as effective as some of these other therapies that we're seeing in our society. So we're seeing it grow more and more popular because the fact that it works really well and it's actually very accessible. So what are sound scientists of the future gonna do? We talked about sound scientists now, we talked about sound scientists of the past. What are sound scientists of the future gonna do? I see sound scientists being one of the most universal and powerful ways of working with the human body, because we can get out of language, creating a huge transformation. And it doesn't have to be in English, it doesn't have to be in Spanish, Japanese. It can literally just be in a sound that's universal, that anybody can understand, that doesn't challenge anything. And so because of that, we're gonna keep seeing different types of technology and people perfecting how to use science, our nowadays science, which is computers, building things with different types of pre-programmed music, and really unifying it all together. As a sound scientist, I just want to take a moment to appreciate all of the beautiful souls and people that have donated their life and energy to creating peace and unity through sound and music. We can think about Bob Marley, we can think about Albert Einstein, we can think about Cleopatra. These were all amazing people who used sound for healing. There are so many teachers of sound and science out there. Can you hear it? Can you feel it? The change is happening. The sound is now. I invite you to join the vibration as we all use sound science to restore, balance, and regain confidence, love, and health in our mind, body, and spirit.
That's right. The future is now. We are here in the present moment, and we're using sound, right? Yeah. So I hope this inspired you guys a little bit. My goal of this documentary was kind of like when I used to watch spirit science documentaries back in the day. I don't know if you guys ever watched those little short things on YouTube back in the day. They were cute, but they inspire you. What if the world was flat? What if there are people on Mars? You know, but what if sound science did work? What if it did? Well, I have a beautiful group of amazing souls that have dedicated a lot of their time and energy to understanding how sound, music, herbs, vibration, energy works in healing. And I would like to invite you guys for the next 15, 20 minutes to ask us some questions. And I'm going to invite anybody who I asked to be part of the panel to come up here to the side. And we're going to kind of go through a little bit of community healing. And we're going to ask questions and receive answers in multiple different ways. We have divine feminine energy. We have masculine energy. We have people that work actually as musical therapists. We have scientists. And we're going to get a well-rounded energy. And this is all going to feed the next documentary. That's right, because these are what people really want to know about sound science. And this is what we're going to try to give out. We want to feed what people want, not just what we know. Well, it doesn't matter what people know. What do people want to know? That's what's really important. So if you guys want to help us, then we're just going to take a little bit of time, and I can even help a little bit as well. And we're going to spark a little conversation about sound and science. So very excited about this. We can put a little chair over here if you want to sit over here with us, brother. And I'm just going to, before we completely start, I'm going to give just a second. Familiar with who these beautiful people are and their energy of sharing. So, yeah, just a quick second. That's good. We like light. Would you mind sharing your name?
Sure. I'm Relendra. Excuse me. I practice sound healing through channeling light language and toning frequencies vocally, as well as with other sound healing instruments, drums, bowls, chimes, and various modalities to create a sonic experience to open the soul and the psyche to transmissions that can work on the psyche without necessarily knowing exactly what's being worked on, but just opening to it. That's a little brief explanation of what I do. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Vivica, and I also channel light language. I am a singer and have studied classical singing, and so the type of light language that seems to come through me often is more vowels, which I associate more with the feminine. And so my main instrument is voice, but I also play many other healing instruments, such as crystal bowls that I purchased from Chaz's shop up in Vancouver. And so that's kind of my specialty, singing with the crystal bowls. I'm also a Reiki master and incorporate sound healing into my Reiki sessions, and I also teach vocal yoga.
Hi, everybody. My name is Claire. Lots of folks also know me as Crystal Claire, just for fun. And I have been trained in a number of different wellness modalities, different forms of therapies and counseling, and have found that sound has been incredibly profound for myself and others in restoring our nervous system and coming back home to the body and the being. So, really grateful to be here.
Hi, I'm Rob, or Robbie Love, as some of you guys know me. So I'm a quantum conscious growth coach, but I have one kind of foot in science and the non-conscious mind, and the other one in Reiki, energy healing, channeling, all that kind of stuff. But I mainly teach people about consciousness, dropping into the breath. Everything really is frequency and raising our vibration. It's really how we improve the quality of our lives through that. And like the deepest state of rapport that we all can get into is breathing in unison. You see that with mothers and babies, and the more that we can do that, as we were like doing here earlier, we breathe in, we drop in, and we connect. That is where we're all moving to. We're moving to the space of unity consciousness and coming into union with each other and within our hearts, which is a vibrational frequency, you know, as far as vortex math and all that kind of stuff goes. It really all just kind of drops into that space. But yeah, so, and also I guess the one other thing that I'd say is the more that we do sounds together, like specifically like around the space of the sound of awe, creation, God, the more that we do that frequency of awe, we can drop into very deep states of rapport with each other. And that really is where we're moving to. It's about connection. It's about connecting with each other, and love all the people here and what Chaz is doing. It's awesome. Thanks.
Woo. Awesome. I have to say, first of all, Chaz, that was so beautiful to watch. You did such a great job. I don't remember the name of the, what is your? Chad, that was beautiful too. Wonderful. Yeah, it's exciting to be here with all you beautiful, amazing healers. Yeah, good job. Really, really good job. Yeah. My name is Ayana, and my partner Tom is in California right now giving brain massages to someone in need, so he couldn't be here. And we are Sound and Soul Awakening together. Before he and I met, I had been doing massage, Reiki, using crystals, and vibrational healing for 20 years or so, working with women around the world mostly. And I'd had a very severe brain injury and spinal injury and had been taken out for a long time. And when Tom and I met, I had already done a lot of healing, but I still had no capacity to learn or remember anything. And he resurrected his brain massage, which is sound, and started playing with it with me. And my brain began healing. And I can now learn and remember. I'm still improving, but it's been really amazing. And what I loved was combining our work together. Tom's been doing sound healing for over 20 years. His favorite instrument is a didgeridoo. We also use gongs and crystal bowls and Tibetan bowls and a variety of other instruments. I had been trained, Reiki and shamanic work and channeling spirit, and he was doing the instruments, and he's opened more and more to what I do, and I'm open more and more to what he does, and we're flowing together very well. But one of the most amazing things with sound I found is that things get stuck in our body on a physical and energetic level, and things that could just flow through get contracted. And I first noticed it in working with individuals or couples, that we do the sound healing first, and the contraction would open. And then with their permission, I could help lift that, pull that out. And with couples, people who sometimes it would take so much work on my part to try to get them to see each other and feel each other, do the sound healing first, and they would be vibrating in harmony, and without words, there would be love and connection again. So I just encourage everyone here to come to the practitioners. I know that everybody here is a wonderful practitioner, and Chaz is amazing. So thank you.
Hello, my name is Joshua. I'm also known as Earthtuned. I'm the creator of the gigantic tuning forks over on that table back there. Thank you. So I guess I suppose I'd consider myself a sound scientist as well. I have one foot in the realms of pragmatism and another foot in the realms of consciousness. I first got into sound healing while I was using tuning forks in an ayahuasca ceremony, and little normal-sized ones, the small ones. And all of a sudden, I'm just being given instructions to make my own, and the universe does a 360 within 72 hours, and I'm holding a giant one in my hands and realizing that there's no one else on the planet making them to this capacity. And so that was about 5 years ago, and since then it's been a journey of figuring out how to relay the information and how to relay the experiences and what I'm seeing with what sound can do in a way that is less woo-woo, as Chaz would say, while simultaneously getting like instructions from other realities of like how these things work. But I'm all for cymatics. I am all for numerology and geometry. When we look at sound and the geometric constants that are baked into the structure of the universe, we will find the same frequencies or harmonic patterns that you find in perfect octaves based around 432. And then you look around the world and you find the same number patterns within all like the mythos of every story around the planet, of every temple structure. You'll find the same proportions that you find in sound within these places. And I was raised Jewish, and I spoke to one of the foremost psychedelic rabbis in the world at one point when I was having all these awakenings and trying to figure out what I was doing and thinking I was going to be a rabbi before the tuning fork showed up. And he was telling me that one of the secrets of the temples was they'd create these harmonic structures within the proportions of the human body, so that when you'd go to the pilgrimage once a year or once in your life, and you'd go there to receive the blessings, you go there to pray, you would leave a harmonic imprint on the structure, and one would be left within you, so you could use it as an amplification methods of your own consciousness. And so that always stuck with me in a really big way. And then also the cymatics is the most important part, I think, when it comes to physically, because the sound just rinses the cells in the body. It just resets everything to harmonic proportions and perfection. So, but yeah, really happy to be here and to connect with all you. And thank you, Chaz. That was an amazing, amazing video. Definitely lifted my spirits for today. Been super busy and kind of just like, and the moment I came out, I'm like, that's sweet. Okay, perfect. I'm glad I'm here. So yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Lovely. Hello, I'm Lulu. My coaching practice and healing practice is Lou Love Healing, because I really, truly believe in the power of self-love and self-compassion and to combat inner criticism, because we all know, actually, I met someone last week who's like, I literally have never thought for a second that I'm not good enough. I was like, good for you. You're amazing. But a lot of us deal with a lot of negative messages in our minds. And when I was plunged into depression after verbal abuse, I got the chance to explore the possibility of using vibrational healing and intentional heart medicine songs to help heal my mindset. And it was immensely successful. I mean, I used lots of methods to holistically regain my confidence and happiness and health and believing in myself and loving myself. And I started getting to channel songs that have wise, loving messages for myself and for others. So I teach how to change your thought patterns from the negative ones to more helpful ones and put them to music, because our brain processes music in the emotional center. So that's why you'll come to tears when you hear the right thing at the right time, and why it's more effective to sing yourself a soothing message than just try and say it straight. Yeah. So I have songs that I sing to people in Reiki and in healing sessions, and teach to them and help them design their own
I mean, you can really pick any phrase and put it to any tune you like that already exists or that you make up on the spot, but that's what's really important to me.
Thank you, sister. So as you can see, we have a beautiful just collective of energy all the way through here. We all care about sound, we all care about health, and we all care about raising our consciousness. So I would love if anybody has a question to spark upon us, and maybe as the people that will be sharing back, maybe one or two of us can briefly speak about that if we feel like we have something very full to share with it, so we can kind of maybe go through a handful of questions. Has anybody got something to start us off with? Ooh, yay, an icebreaker. I love it.
I'm curious about the tuning forks. I just got back I saw Eileen McCusick.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with her?
Yeah, I'm familiar with their work, yeah.
So I'm just curious, like, why the big ones? I guess.
I mean, in terms of tuning forks, I always go bigger is better. That's just me. The vibration, we're talking about something that can hold resonance for up to 5 minutes and over, that it'll just hold a pure tone for as long as possible. When you put it to the body, like you've experienced them on the body, but these things just, they cut through everything. So the founder of, was it Biosonics, I believe, was talking about the whole point of tuning forks is providing as pure and as powerful and as long of a tone as possible. And it's also, I mean, tuning forks of all sizes, incredible tools. I just happen to fall into a very niche existence of making the ones that I do. And I make bells and I make double-sided ones, and they become definitely more of they are a tool for a lot of healers, so I provide them to a lot of people who do their own healing practices all over the globe. But simultaneously, they become a form of flow. They become like a physical expression of movement, and they're fun to dance with and move with. And everyone I know who uses them always finds a unique way to provide a soundscape or to provide some sort of method which they use that blows my mind. It's just like, I would have never thought to use it like that. You're creating a sound that's just wholly unique, because you'll hear them in a moment, but they carry so far. They get exceptionally loud, and if I hold them on to like structures, the whole structures vibrate. But yeah, I'm a fan of her work, and I'm eventually going to meet her at some point. I know it. I can just like feel her in the periphery. Like, people are constantly ask if I've like met her or if I know her. I'm like, maybe one day. But yeah.
I think another reason why people make all different types of healing tools to a massive size. Tuning forks create a magnetized poles because the two poles next to each other, they vibrate, and because they vibrate next to each other, actually creates the opposite of electricity. It creates magnetism, and that magnetism is what shakes up and creates that almost like a pulse you feeling when you have a tuning fork next to you. So the bigger, the more actual magnetized energy. And so I think that's a big part of the tuning fork with it getting bigger, because then not only are you creating more vibration, but that magnetized field just gets so much more drawn, and you feel it like draw to you, which I think is really rad. Great question. Anybody else got something they want to share? All right.
So I appreciate that film because it tripped off a memory flash for me of something I forgot about. And basically, it was many decades ago, I read an article written by some European doctor, and he was putting forth the theory that our nervous system doesn't conduct energy or impulses by only electricity or the chemicals at the synapses, but more importantly, below or beneath all that we're able to observe in Western medicine is that the nerves are conducting sound, and the whole nervous system is working on sound. And I read this years ago and forgot completely about it. It fascinated me. The only thing I remember about what he gave a lot of really cool reasons that I just can't remember, except one was that there's not enough heat being generated in our nervous system from all the resistance that should be there if it's purely electrical energy. There should be, the laws of physics, there should be heat generated to a greater degree. And there was other cool ideas he had too. My question is, has anyone ever heard of, like I said, just flashed on me about this sound thing, and I never heard of it again. And has anyone come across this as that it's actually sound, not electricity, running our nerves?
Start this off, and then we could probably go to some of the vocal people, because they can probably So sound, electricity, vibration, light, emotion, thought are all actually the same thing. They're just different variations of each other. And the more fine-tuned you get, the more fine-tuned the frequency gets, as in a sound like, oh, the more in tune it gets actually becomes emotion. If you keep doing that, next thing you know, your eyes will start rolling the back of your head, you'll start feeling like you're growing horns, versus if you start going, oh, next thing you're like, oh man, I'm gonna have a flower coming out of me. And this is because it carries energy, it carries frequency, and it carries emotion. And so when they actually went deeper with it, they realized it wasn't actually a really what we would consider energy, because we think of energy as electricity. But really, it was to them more of they were dialing it in. It was actually more like a sound because it carried information along with the power, which we would think about as emotion, which is why we use songs so much in so many different ways. And sound healing is probably, we all know, the most ancient way of sound healing and the most powerful way. And I do play lots of different instruments, and it's like the last instrument I learned to play was my voice. Very weird. But I'm really into learning to play my voice now. It's healing so amazingness in my heart and soul. So maybe one of the beautiful art vocal people can share a little bit about how energy transfers into sound and how that affects the nervous system. Yeah? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, great question. Thank you. So, before I go into the vocal stuff, I wanted to address what you were asking about the nervous system, which brought me to remembering all the training I've had as a yoga teacher as well, and also connecting with the breath. So as Chaz mentioned, it's all the same, right? The energy, the electricity, the sound. That's interesting what you were saying. I hadn't heard of that, but that really resonated with me, Chaz, about how it's really all the same thing. And then when we connect with our breath, and there's various different breath techniques that we can do to calm the nervous system, that's one way in, right? There's lots of ways in to healing our own nervous system. And another way is through making our own vibration, through recognizing that we are all instruments, our bodies are our instruments. And so the breath is the first step. And then just like what we were doing earlier tonight, creating any kind of vibration on the exhale and lengthening that exhalation is the first step into healing, balancing the nervous system. So that's what I practice and what I teach. And then there's all sorts of different places you can go from there, right? So just finding those ways in that works best for you is the first important step. And then from there you can explore, well, what are the qualities of my own unique instrument? What unique frequencies are meant to come through me? And then that's a whole journey of self-awareness and healing and growth. So that's all I want to share. Thank you.
Yes, on this question of the vocal and of song as well, I find that on this theme of really everything being light, and sound itself, as I see it, is light in vibration, right, in movement. And with song, I write songs and medicine songs as well as channeling the light language. You can achieve the integration of the emotional because melodies carry emotional signatures, and lyrics speak to the mind, and the vibration felt in the body brings us to the body, and all of it carries to the soul, right? So that's why, for me also, this idea of the voice being this primary instrument, that there's no obstruction between this magic of sound and light and vibration, integrating mind, emotion, body, and soul, is why a song is a great carrier of this frequency and this healing modality, as well as the light language I practice, which brings the mind to that state of opening to what doesn't have a reference. And so that's the other side of the integration, is songs that have a reference and words that you don't know what the reference is, and then the mind integrates back and forth between each of those. So those are some of my thoughts on this question of vocals and song and singing. Whether you're hearing somebody singing or especially if you're singing yourself, all of that can start to integrate and produce this healing and opening. Thank you.
Oh, that was great. Thank you, guys. A quick, almost a little tool I want to give you guys. I was gifted when I was going to college for music therapy. They actually shared that you can make the sound of the pain inside of you and get rid of it. And so next time you have of the earth to activate sound, to send sound into the earth to release pressure. The same way as we would take a tuning fork and stick it on certain parts of the body and send that into our body to release pressure. So as above, so below. These systems have been going on for a long time. I'm thinking probably almost anybody here can talk a little bit about some consciousness and pressure points. Does anybody have something they would like to add about that? Anybody? No? Yeah? Yeah.
I don't have anything to say about pressure points specifically, but when you're speaking about sounds for specific parts of the body and the nervous system, I was in a wheelchair and the doctor said I would be there for life. And I remember I wanted to show my son that that we could do anything. So one of the thing that was the most effective was one day I was in meditation and spirit came through me. I didn't know what sound to make, but the sounds just started coming through me. And I wasn't, at that point, I didn't ever use my voice for singing. And it felt like angels or something were singing through me. And as I was doing that, I could feel nerves connecting that had been disconnected. And before that, they said I was non-rehabilitatable. And after that, it still was a lot of work. But I was able to start connecting to muscles and areas that I hadn't been able to move before. And the beginning of that was sound, and even then when I was working on it, it was too painful and hard to do. So I would make sound as I was doing it, and that made it so I could handle the sensations. And it felt like I was kind of taking the hand of one disconnected place and walking it over to the other with the sound in my nervous system. So that was just my personal experience.
I suppose I have a little bit to add. That's incredible because you're the only other person I have encountered who has a very similar experience. They broke their back skiing and they were in a hospital for almost a year. Doctors saying that they were never going to walk again and he was going to die in there. He's just like, that sounds like bullshit to me. And he he got his brother to take him out of there, and through some work with a book called Song of the Spine and type of hypnosis, guys walking around, I'd have no idea that he was ever in an accident like that when I first met him, and he's just a giant mountain of a guy. But also for pressure points and acupuncture, you can do a lot of acupuncture with tuning forks, which I'm sure you're aware of. And I've had some acupuncture sessions where they put a bunch in my back and then played my tuning forks over it, and it was just absolutely absurd, but it's the same thing of connecting the channels, connecting the nerves, and allowing the sound, allowing the energy to come through, and just to open up everything. So resets it, flexes it out. So it's very powerful. We should connect about some acupuncture at some point. Yeah, let's do that.
Thank you. Great question, great answers. We got a question right here. Yeah.
I think this is a collective question. My experience in healing modalities started when I met Adina Egan and Chaz about 5 years ago. I've done a lot since then, and I've actually figured out recently I can have everything that I want. I know what I'm wanting. I don't pay attention to what I'm not wanting. And I've chosen happiness, even within the last 2 weeks, reading Wakini and some books that I've finally said, I choose happiness, no matter if I stub my toe, my partner leaves me, my car breaks down, doesn't matter. The biggest issue I've had, because it's exciting to heal, it's exciting, sleep. I never sleep more than 2 to 3 hours at a time. And I'd really, really love a frequency, a song. I listen to so much guided meditation. I've tried a lot, just got introduced to Schumann's resonance. And it's like, okay, I want to stay happy, but can I please stay asleep for longer than 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours? I would love an 8-hour night. That would be so cool to not wake up the whole time. I know sometimes not drinking too many fluids and things like that before bed maybe, but come on, universe. I'm feeling very, very healed and very good about life. I would love to relax it out and sleep a whole night,
Can I say something about that? Okay. It's about a year ago that I went through my dark night of the soul, and I had already purchased a ticket to a Joe Dispenza retreat in January, and I started meditating with his meditations daily before the retreat. In December, I said, I don't care what happens in 2022, I'm going to meditate with Joe Dispenza every day. And I have this Aura ring, which tracks my sleep, and lately I'm all in the 90s. And it's been a slow build to that. I actually ended up going to 4 Joe Dispenza retreats in 2022. If you told me that was going to happen in January, I would have said you were nuts. But and it goes back to what you're saying too. He actually broke his back. That's his origin story. He was in a triathlon and got hit by a car and healed himself. And in Nashville, in Niagara Falls in September, I saw a man. We do co-healings at these events where we're the healers and there's a healie on the floor in front of you. And through sound and breath, you come into heart-brain coherence and you send that energy to these people. And I saw a man who had been using a scooter since 2001, get up and walk. And then I saw him again in October in Nashville, and he ran. And he's still walking. He's not running like a marathoner, but he ran some steps. So there's tons of his stuff on YouTube for free. There's tons of testimonials. If there's anyone in your life suffering from anything, you can find a testimonial about it on YouTube with Joe Dispenza.
So I think this is a great question to end it out. I think all of the practitioners probably have something we can say. So let's just go down, and we'll keep it short, paragraph or so, but let's just all share a little bit about what we do to balance ourselves to help create a harmony of allowing for restoration, for a mentalness to get out of the beta, the busy, oh my gosh, well, how many socks am I wearing? 10? Why? I don't know. And then into the real moment of being present in our heart, and allowing that to transfer into resonance of sleep, which is a delta wave, which is very important for us to get, because all the Wi-Fi and all the electronics don't want us to get in delta. But if we work on our meditation, our breathing, our sound, then we can get ourselves there in a natural way. So yeah, let's just go down the list and share a little bit, and then we're going to be able to have lots of experience. We have sound tables set up so you can come and experience what it's like to have your body turned into a speaker. We have little exhibits set up everywhere. We got Mo Magic in the back is going to be doing some flute stuff. We got our brother Wooden Monkey and his wonderful magic back there. It's a lot. I don't want to go into it because we're going to talk about sleep.
All right. Well, in addition to my sound healing work, I work as a psychotherapist and do healing work in that modality as well as Reiki, and incorporate sound healing into Reiki. And so when I'm offering healing to myself, I will, incorporate meditation and incorporate singing and toning to myself. And really the self-relationship, right, which is something that touches on the psychotherapeutic understanding of healing ourselves through our own self-love, sending our emotions of love toward ourselves, and through self-talk. And doing that, sometimes I'll do walk and talk, right? Just walk through the neighborhood and talk, and incorporating all these modes of, also with Reiki, just energy work, just tuning into the energy meditatively, and inviting and praying for energetic healing. Those are some of what I do. Thank you.
So I think it's such an important question, and it's something that I've struggled with as well with regard to sleep, insomnia. And it's so different for everyone. And what I've found to be really helpful, along with certain medicines, is offering, as Rilendra said, Reiki to myself, offering toning to myself, finding self-compassion, and then practicing regular meditation, which helps me to focus the mind so that when those spinning thoughts are happening, when I'm trying to sleep, I can observe them and continually bring myself back to the breath, back to the sensations in the body. And one thing I'll do, and this is similar to Yoga Nidra, is like bring my awareness to like one side of the body and then the other side, and just keep going back and forth and like down the whole body, and just bringing that light of awareness and compassion to these different areas of the body, integrating, and then, yes, using sound. And again, I just feel called to keep reiterating our bodies are our instruments. And I'm just really passionate about spreading that message. Thank you.
I first want to acknowledge all these incredible miracle stories. Goodness, y'all inspire me so much. Yeah, and I want to offer this added layer that we are multidimensional humans. So yes, sound has a huge impact on us, seen or unseen, whether or not we allow it or consciously recognize it. But there are so many layers that add up to how we feel. And some modality that you can explore, especially in terms of a particular ailment that's looking to be resolved, is polarity therapy, which is an acknowledgement and recognition that we are affected by so many different types of vibrations, whether physical, sound, or our environment, our thoughts. There's all these different ways that vibrations affect how we feel in different forms. And so to look at a bigger holistic perspective, when we're like addressing something like sleep, we can kind of come at it at different angles, whether there's certain types of nutrition imbalances that can help us at certain times of the day, eating certain foods or communing with different herbs that can help us slow down and then access, especially with like something like binaural beats or specific types of frequencies that we resonate with, that we particularly enjoy, that can help us get to those delta deeper brainwave states and enjoy our full night sleeps that we deserve. So just want to add that layer as well of like, we are biomagnetic electric beings, and so if we look at the full layers of how that affects us, even like electromagnetic wavelengths, like our devices can affect how we sleep too. Yeah, Chaz can definitely expand on that for sure. But yeah, just wanted to add that layer as well, as vibrations affect us from many different forms, and sound is certainly a one really powerful angle, but just opening up that perspective to play around with.
Yeah, well, one, first I want to celebrate that you're awake. You know, you're awake. Like, you're living from this place of love, heart-centered, like that kind of space, and dropping into this new human, 5D human, right? Like, you're moving into that complete space. Myself personally, like, I've been listening. I've had sleep phones, like just sleep phones for like 20 years. Like, I binaural beats, solfeggio every night, like for me, and I train myself to sleep 5 hours a night and feel completely restored. So, but that's just kind of challenging that. The other thing that I just wanted to ask you was just, what are you experiencing challenges because of not sleeping? Because you seem very, alert, present here. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Do you feel tired? Dude, you've got extra hours in the day. Like, congratulations. A lot of this stuff that we're dealing with is just indoctrination, and we've been programmed to believe a lot of different things that are bullshit, and it just isn't true at all. So really, like, tapping into your own system and like where you're at and what you're evolving to, like, that's the thing to pay attention to. I wouldn't look at anything as what everybody else is saying works for them or what you need and all that kind of stuff. A lot of it is just utter bullshit. So, like, tap in, stimulate your heart chakra, ask your belly, check in with your gut, what is it you actually need for you, and maybe 3 hours is perfect, or maybe not.
Such awesome people here. Yeah, I've had insomnia issues since I was 3 years old, and so it's been over 50 years. And my partner gives me brain massages so that I can sleep. And I've learned to be able to sleep without that. But at first it really took that for a lot of reasons. There are a lot of different things going on. So one thing I learned with that, and with the breath work and meditation and all the other things I'm doing, is that we can sleep a full 8 hours or longer and not feel rested, or you can sleep a short amount of time and get deep rest. And I think you're alluding to that very clearly. And there's a type of rest that you can go to with the help of the right kind of sound, where your mind chatter really stops. And if we can learn to be awake while our body's sleeping, or our mind rests but we're awake, lucid dreaming, then we can have lucid living in this dream. And so maybe it's an invitation for you to explore some of that. That's just what comes to my mind. And I don't. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know much about your story, what you have going on, but you have beautiful energy, and maybe this is an opportunity for you to the hours that you do sleep, to really let your body deeply rest and your mind deeply rest, and something else is going on, some kind of awakening possibly too.
I totally empathize with you in so many ways, as I slept maybe like 3 hours last night and just wrenched myself out of bed, like, oh, I'll go to sleep at 2, and then suddenly it's like 5 a.m. and I'm like, why am I awake? What's going on here? But I've gone through it. I've gone through a lot of periods of not being able to sleep ever, and then somehow miraculously getting sleep and feeling rested. And a few strategies I have, if you have the space to do it, is like compartmentalizing your spaces for sleep and other activities. So like when I was in school studying psychology, the few things I retained pertaining to sleep is compartmentalizing the sleep chamber for sleep and sex only. Like it's one of those things, like nothing else happens in there. You're either sleeping or just getting all the love in the world that you want. And that actually helps. Like I don't even go on my phone in my room sometimes. If at a certain point of night I'm just like, I just leave it in a grayscale mode so I'm not even seeing blue light. And then trying to match your circadian rhythm to the lights in your house. Like for me personally, the moment the sun starts to go down, my apartment turns into a submarine. The only lights that are on are like red, and it gets to the point where I'll like force myself to struggle, like, oh, I need to find something and I don't want to turn on a light. I'll just get a little red headlamp and just be going around. And it actually helps a lot, just because, you know, it pisses off all my friends and people that are in my house. It's like, oh, it's 7 o'clock, maybe I'll turn on a lamp for you guys, and just, yeah. But yeah, matching the circadian rhythm as much as you can. But you seem like you've got a lot going on, so it might be a little bit difficult, and sometimes there's space constraints for that. But yeah, that's one little nugget of information that's helped me a lot. I mean, I always go with like red light spectrums, or just, oh yeah.
It's science.
But
It's science for your eyes. Like
yeah.
That is the easiest for nighttime.
Yeah. Yeah, and also for some strange reason, lights that are low rather than lights that are above. At nighttime, for whatever reason, that's just the body like will respond much better than that. So if there's a lot of light coming from here, just the positioning of it won't affect sleep as much. But yeah. Yeah.
Sweet. You learn all sorts of things. I would look at what thoughts might be bothering you from your day and maybe writing a list of things that you don't need in your head for right now, or like you're already thinking of tomorrow. Okay, that's great. Write them down. You'll get to them. That's okay. Maybe you can even use that list to start delegating. Oh, maybe one of my friends could do this, or maybe a coworker. And then you can talk to your mind like, oh, is that so? Really? Well, thank you. I don't need that right now. Thank you. And like just I do push it away with my arm, and then return to some things that you might like to hear that would make you feel soothed, make you feel enough. Because if it's a matter of, I don't know if I'm going to get it all done, like just say, I am enough. You know, this is the end of a day. What has been done has been done. What has not been done has not been done. Let it rest. I don't remember the tune to that song. Otherwise, I'd sing it. But it is a sweet song. And yeah, give yourself like a little lullaby of any sort. Maybe a real lullaby that you remember from childhood, or just some soothing phrases like, I am absolutely enough and I get to rest. I deserve to rest. So using affirmations can be really nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that's lovely.
That's great. Thank you guys so much. Can I get a little round of applause for all these beautiful souls taking time, really being dedicated to their work? Take a moment and exhibit time and talk to one of these people. Ask them what they do. Maybe even invoke a session by them. I really think it would be beneficial. Maybe I'll do that. I can use a session coming up too. I'm going to use this time just to plug some things. I have an app coming out if you want some sleep or some sound healing. Check out my website, northwestsoundhealing.com. There's an app, BioVibes. There's a sleeping therapy on there. There's also things you can do to start getting your body more aligned and in tune. So when you are in rest, when you're ready for rest, your body will be ready for rest. And I will say just the big thing that I see the most, I think, just to piggyback on everything, is realizing that if there's something going on stimulating, you won't be able to sleep. So if you got your Wi-Fi device on, if you got your phone on next to you, if there's a TV going on, it's going to be activating a beta brainwave state, and it's going to be doing the opposite of what your brain wants to do, which is go to theta and then to delta so it can restore. So making sure you really take home of your space. If you have to create, I actually went and bought one of those turny alarm clocks, a wind-up alarm clock, just so I just don't have to have my phone on at night at all. Because I used to be like, oh, I need it for my alarm clock. No, I don't. And I actually sleep much, much better. And so those are just some quick things. We're going to open it up to the exhibit time. There's lots of fun things to try here. We have sound healing instruments for sale and for you to try. We're going to do gong blessings. If you've never had a sound table session, come up here. We're going to do sound table sessions. So we're just going to take a quick minute to clear out the chairs. And all you exhibitor people, please go to your spaces. And can we get a round of yums for everybody? Yum! That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, guys.